Good. Guys, welcome. I mean, I can see a couple of people joining.
Can I just say
Listen,
you love your jackets on behalf
which
of
one? This one?
everybody else? Yes, now this one that has like African flags and repping Africa for life. I love it.
There's humanity over hustle here, which is like a mantra that we have.
Oh, that's so
By the
cute.
way, cool. So good to have you, Blessing. I'll do a bit of an introduction. What time is it? Oh, it's just 5 and oh my goodness, we're so early. Typically, we'll give people like 2-3 minutes to join. Okay. So let me say as well that I love your hair, by the
Thank you. Thank you. It's going lower, by the way. It's going lower.
way.
It's
Yeah, I hear that it's easier to maintain, Blessing, with all of your money.
See, it's not even about the money. It's about the fact that I just now understand what men go through. Like the
Yeah.
last, I think for the first
Okay.
time, I was at the barbers and I just literally sat and 15, 20 minutes later, I was done and it don't make sense to me. I was like, what? It's what men have been enjoying
Oh yeah.
all this
Oh
while.
yeah. Then of course we don't have the problems of putting on makeup and lip gloss and eye
Some
pencil
men
and eyeshadow.
do, by the way, so
Oh well,
that's
okay.
not
So
annoyed.
I plead the fifth. I say nothing about that. By the way, I just saw Akin Labi join. Great guy, by the way. Mr. Fisher. I'm sure you know him.
Yeah,
I mean, you guys are
yeah.
in the creative industry, so but
Yeah,
we
I mean,
go
he was
way,
the one who
way
shot
back.
all of my unbranded
Are
conversations. I don't know if you've
you
seen that video
for
since.
real? Oh
Yeah, I mean,
wow. Oh wow.
super creative director,
I
extraordinary.
know,
I
I
can't
know.
control.
Yeah, Akin Labi, I'm coming for you. Don't worry. We are coming for you. All right, cool. And then I realized that it's a small world, small industry at the end of the day. I mean, considering how many we are in the country, but it's just a small group of people who are doing great stuff, and I'm glad that I'm part of that community with people like you, right? Good.
Yes, but even better is that the community is expanding. What I really love is that the people who were doing amazing things are creating
Hmm.
spaces for more people to be able to do amazing things. So empowering people, building communities, it's such a big thing. And I love how it's growing. It's amazing. I can't complain.
Yeah. And I'm loving that picture behind you,
Thank
by
you.
the way.
It's by my friend Romy Siche. It's a piece of art. Please, if you're into
Oh,
art, buy it wrong. It's worth it. It grows in investment
it
quickly.
does? Okay.
It
So
does.
it's like an
Mhm.
investment. We like to hear the word investment right now. So just be careful what you say. All right, guys, it's 3 minutes past 5. So let me be the first to say welcome, blessings. Let me just do this introduction. Welcome you guys to another what we like to call an inspiring session. I mean, you choose at the end of the day if it inspires you or not, but we just like to have fun, and in the process, we are hoping to empower people to begin their tech journey. Tech is our bias. Tech is our weakness. All right, so we want to ensure that people are joining that tech train, and also because we believe that that's the key to unlocking a lot of the challenges that we have in Nigeria. So today we have the MannyVille series 8.0. All right, so it's the eighth session that we've started
Oh.
talking with raconteurs globally from all over the world. I'm not going to tell you where Blessing is. Uh, by the way, and so I want to say welcome to those joining us for the first time, the new audience, and the guys who've been here all the while. Just in case you didn't know, my name is Emmanuel Asika. Most people call me Manny. During my day job, I'm the country director, country head for HP in Nigeria. My second job, I'm the grill here, and tonight or today, that's what I'm going to be doing. There are three things, because besides the fact that we're going to be having fun, we are going to be giving out some goodies. All right, so we're going to have data, but I'll tell you what it is. But these are three things you need to know if you want to be a partaker of some of the things we're going to be giving out. Yeah, I was saying this morning, Uncle do giveaway. so, so if you want to be part of it, three things. First is that we call it the 3 Ps. You need to be present, you need to participate, and then eventually you may have the opportunity to give a pitch, all right? Which means you're going to talk to us for 1 minute. Think about the elevator pitch. If Dangote, you walked into a lift with Dangote, what would you say to him? So you're going to be, and I need you just to tell you guys, you need to be articulate. Don't tell me about the problems in Nigeria or the problems in your life. Just talk about what it is that you think that this device is going to help you do, and then convince Blessing, because Blessing is going to choose, guys. It's not Manny, all right? All the all the wahala on Blessing. All right, so So your pitch has to be straightforward and it needs to be incisive. Now, some people have had the opportunity to fill the forms online. We've done also a sifting, but despite the fact that they fill the form, they need to be present, they need to participate, and they will have the opportunities to pitch. So that's a new format. Again, we're not going to announce the winners today. We're going to announce the winners with, Blessing has tweaked this thing already. You see, these creative people have come. All right, so we're going to announce the winners sometime on the 20th. But we're going to give out data, and there's a lot of microcredit that's going to be going out. So please just be sensitive, be careful. We're looking at everything that's going on. I think there's a lot that you can gain if you are present. All right, and I think it's a skill that we're trying to teach young people to have. Why the MannyVille Live series? I'd summarize it in just one simple quote: "Would rather light a candle than curse the darkness." It's as simple as that. A lot of people want to criticize, and honestly, I have no problems with those who criticize, because I think that raising the conversation level helps anyways, every single time. All right, it creates awareness of challenges, and hopefully we can get solutions. But I mean, that's not our department. Right here, we just want to say, what can we do to make it better? And we want to do it one person at a time, one device at a time, and we want to ensure that we're lifting the conversation and we're helping bridge the digital divide. So digital equity is what we've done. Now, again, just so you know, since we started, we've given out 12 devices, 12 laptops already. We're going to be giving out, should I announce now how many we're going to be giving out?
We're giving out 2 people. And I'm excited.
Yeah, so 2 today. And it's not just any laptop, it's a HP laptop, go figure. All right. Yeah, it's a HP laptop.
As the country director of HP, yeah, we can't do any, like,
I don't even know that there's any other brand, trust me. I mean, what other brand is there? I mean some people say Apple, but once that's like we eat it.
Yeah,
okay.
So nobody called it.
Anyway, so we're giving out 2 laptops. Is a Core i3 HP SSD 8 gig, so that I can handle you guys who are starting a tech journey. We've also given out almost 20 people data, all right, because we believe again in 3Ds. Okay, let me tell you what 3Ds are. It's and yeah, for those who won the laptops in the chat box, we just say hello, hi, so people know that we're not scamming you, Nigeria. Okay, yeah, so there are 3Ds. We know that if you want to bridge the digital divide, you need data, you need digital literacy, but more importantly, you need devices. I mean, you can speak all of the grammar that you want. If people don't have devices, it's going to be tough, for them to do the digital journey. Okay, cool. So let me just go. Why are we talking women? We're celebrating IWD, and we have an absolutely beautiful woman with us who is also not just beauty, but also brains, but also skills, talent. We are honestly honored and privileged to have her. I can tell you how I traveled the 7 seas and the 7 hills just to get Blessing. But I mean, why are we talking women? I mean, only 25% of tech professionals are women. I think that's huge. We need to bridge that divide. We understand that when you get the skills of women into the workforce, you can triple GDP in the trillions by 2025. All right, so these are stats that I love, and it's a stat that I think is one reason why we're focusing on women. I mean, I have been privileged to have strong women all my life, and have never seen any deficit in terms of skill or abilities. But I'm happy that we have that. So I'll tell you what some things we're doing, and I just want to read it out. It's not just about celebrating achievements, it's about creating an environment where women can contribute their full potential. I think that's what it is. So by speaking to women, by speaking about women, by speaking up for women, by sponsoring women and supporting women, we'll definitely unlock a bright future for all of us, okay? Let me summarize and jump in straight to what we're talking about. What are you to expect today? 1 laptop, no 2 laptops, haha. Please engage. We're going to give out some data. Some stuff is going to be, please look at the chat box every single time. If you want to ask questions, please ask questions on the question box. But more importantly, engage, right? Guys, engage. And let's see what we can do. All right. Let me do something that we always do. Let me read Blessing's profile before we start talking to her.
Really?
Blessing. We've made it short, by the way, because I mean, if we decided to read the full, the unabridged edition,
When you get to do
that would have been a problem. All right, so guys, this is the woman who we have here today. Tolu, hi, guy. So I'm just saying hello to some people on the. So Blessing is a leading woman in branding and communications in Africa. Guys, it's not just Lagos, it's in Africa, helping brands discover their unique identity so that they can tell better stories. She's the co-founder and director of communications at Ingressive for Good. And I love Ingressive for Good. Met your co-founder as well, and we hit it off very, very easily. All right. She drove the mission of the EdTech nonprofit to create and increase the earning power of African youths through tech trainings, similar to what we do, and resources for the growth of the African startup ecosystems. Now, this is the stats I like. She led the growth of Ingressive for Good from 0 to over 250,000 community members. Training, I mean, Jesus, okay, we will take lessons. Training over 100,000, placing thousands in jobs. That's actually the missing link, for a lot of these things that we do. Placing thousands in jobs and exclusively leading multiple cohorts of women-focused tech training, attracting partners and supporters like Coursera, DataCamp, Facebook, I'm beating the drums, Figma, Alphabet, and a host of others. She's worked with brands across industries in unique capacities nationally and globally, including Seed Stars, Heritage Bank, African Alliance, Dark and Lovely. I was asking, do you guys still remember Dark and Lovely? Well, I do as a child in Nigeria and Africa. Bolt, GSK, Quick Check, and many others. Prior to her impactful work with Ingressive for Good, she co-founded Disha, a digital tech startup that caught the attention of an African unicorn, Flutterwave, leading to a successful acquisition. All right, so there's money right there in the bag as well. Okay, her expertise and ingenuity as the former CMO of Disha contributed significantly to its growth and its success, leaving a lasting impact on the tech landscape in Africa. She has won several awards, and so this goes without saying.
Oh my God, is this the abridged
Is the
version?
Okay, this is the last paragraph, but this one is important. All right, she has won several awards, including recognition as a Forbes 30 under 30 honoree. Guys, can we do that? She's United Nations 100 most influential people of African descent under 40. Tells you a bit how old she is, right? Okay. Why Niger as one of the 100 most powerful youths in Nigeria? Okay. PR Power List Top 50 UK Africa Achievers Award, amongst others. It's a mouthful, but guys, please help me make welcome Blessing Abeng. I call her Bleng now. I don't know if she's accepted it.
It will eventually stick, don't worry.
Yeah, it's Bleng. Someone says you're a virtuous woman. It's huge and inspiring. Guys, please, just keep those comments coming. And let's talk to
everyone.
Look,
Thank you.
I have a couple of questions, by the way, but I'll take more questions from you guys. So she's into branding, communication, and tech. And I think this is going to be like a mini masterclass. But again, we're just going to have conversation and have fun. Okay, so blessing, Bleng. I've spoken, and they say you're so humble. Oh, blessing.
Oh, yes, wow, yes, thank you.
Yes, you are. All right. So we begin. One of the reasons why we started this is because, when we look at your beautiful profile and look at profiles of so many of the people who have come here, it's difficult to apprehend the fact that, guys like you, no matter how popular, famous, or, all the achievements you've had and made, still have a backstory. There's a backstory. All right. And one of the things we want to know, and that helps us the most, is the backstory. All right. So we will always begin by saying, what's that thing that people do not know about your sides, everything that we see? All right, that you can talk to them. I mean, something that can help humanize you, but also help us relate with you, because first of all, that begins the starting point for us to begin to aspire. All right. And I asked this question just before that. Why the black hue in all of your social media profiles?
Oh, so now I think those two, we'll just join them together, right?
Yeah, sure.
That's the way. So why the black and white? One thing people don't know about me is that I'm super lazy. Like, I am a very lazy person. Like, if it was left to me, there's a lot that I would not be doing. However, because I'm lazy, as opposed to using it as an excuse, I find it as an opportunity. What does that mean? It means that I find the most effective possible way to get stuff done, the most efficient, effective way to get stuff done. And then I don't stop there. I figure out how to turn that into a system and make it as reputable as possible, so that my success does not happen I don't want to be a one-hit wonder. I create systems around it. So bringing it back to black and white, back then, and I don't know how many people were very active on social media then, but in the days of like super influencers, especially fashion influencers, you needed to use particular tools and have particular filters and all of that to make your photos look a certain way. And the more consistent you are using those filters, the more beautiful your page will look. I was too lazy. I could not be doing that. I didn't have the energy to consider doing that. However, I found that with black and white, I could save myself the stress of overthinking images. I could post low quality images and they would still look high quality. And that just stuck. I was like, you know what? Thank you very much. This is what I'm going to be doing now. And it has taken a lot of overthinking from me. It has taken a lot of stress. I don't have to think through images that I post. I could just make the first picture black and white and everything else colored, and everybody would be fine. And it also tied back to a lot of my brand colors, which were black, white, and yellow. Majorly focused on the fact that yellow, I am very outgoing, I could have all of that, bright lights, all of that. But black and white was just to create an opportunity and a blank canvas for other creatives to be able to shine. So I see myself as a catalyst, and people could just leverage on my genius to skyrocket and move forward with your own dreams. Yes, that's the story.
Let me just say before someone is saying you're a hardworking lazy woman. I've never heard that before.
But it's true, honestly. It's so weird. My team members are stressed by it, but it's the truth. It's the
All right.
absolute truth. And funny enough, because of this is why I also don't play with tools at all. Like, I would always find a tool. Like, if I cannot outsource it to an individual, I'll outsource it to a tool and figure out how to automate some of my work. I think that was even why I wrote a book on about 101 tools that could make your life so much easier. And I think I have a free version where you find about 20 free tools. So please Google it, tools to make your life easier by Abeng. You'll find it and you should download it.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm sure. Guys, please download it, okay? And we're not encouraging laziness. Oh my goodness.
Please, efficient laziness, people.
How can we tell this to our kids now? Okay, so yeah. Give us an example of one of those tools that has really stuck, or one that stands out, please.
Okay, so maybe I should talk about a very recent one.
Okay.
This might not apply to everybody, but let me talk about this recent one. There's this one called Tidy Cow. And what Tidy Cow does, and if you are
How do you spell it?
TIDYCAL, Tidy Cow. So what it does is, if you're someone who is always booking meetings with people and you don't want to spend a lot of money on Calendly, you can totally use Tidy Cow. What I really loved it was you could change the time, right? You could change the time, or like, let's say me and you, we agreed to meet at 5 o'clock today now. However, something came up and we needed to make it 5:30. You could change it to 5:30 on your Google Calendar, and the person would get an automated email letting them know, oh, this meeting has been rescheduled. Or I would get an automated email saying this meeting has been rescheduled, and you don't have to overly edit it. Like, it's straightforward. It's amazing. Another one that could be really helpful if you're looking for an assistant but you can't afford to pay one is fireflies.ai.
Okay.
Fireflies, so helpful. What it does is it jumps on your meetings and it takes notes. And how you can use this as a content creator, if you're like me, is you get fireflies.ai to jump on your meetings, and then you could go back, pick out the transcription, especially if you were saying useful things there. You could turn those useful things to ebooks. If you record your own, you could turn it into a podcast. There's so many ways you can repurpose the content, especially if you just finished now teaching people how to maybe do like a workshop or something interesting. Such a great way to go about it. Yeah, these are some examples, but there's so much cooler. Like, there's some that are so much cooler that you should check out.
Is it Fireflies or Fireflies?
Fireflies, like fireflies. We will not
Fireflies.
Fireflies.
Okay, so she sings as well. I mean, that's part of the things we don't know, right?
Multi-talented people.
Actually, the Firefly, by the way, that came to mind, it will obviously reveal my age, so I will not say.
Even the music I sang.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay, here we go. All the lazy people, let's gather here. All right, cool. So yeah, so there's this question, and the guys who've been around here for a while will understand this. Did you pass JAM?
So,
tell us the story. Yeah, tell us.
Layers to this gist, and you need to understand this gist. You need to understand that I was a genius growing up.
Okay.
I was going to be a medical doctor, so I was a genius growing up. I wrote JAM in SS2 first, and I
Mm-hmm.
passed in flying
Mm.
colors. It was my
What?
SS2 jam
What
that
was
I
it?
used. I don't remember the
What?
score because I
Okay.
wrote it twice. So I wrote SS2 and I wrote SS3. It was
Okay.
my SS2 jam that I used to apply for university admissions and stuff. My SS2 YX, my SS2 jam, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
I still went on to do SS3 because my dad was like, "Oh, you're too young, oh, you're too small, you're too tiny to go to university at this age." And at that time, me and this man were agreed that I was going to travel abroad and study because I was out there trying to be a neurosurgeon.
Mm.
But he just yanked my dreams off my feet and he said, "Oh, you're too young. How about you do SS3 again?" So I went, I did SS3, but
Mm.
I didn't use the jam scores, I didn't use the YX scores. I think what even happened, and then he ended up saying that I should focus on going to Covenant University as a base.
Ah.
Yeah, so I could build character.
Hmm.
And so I ended up doing a pre-medical course, which was biochemistry.
Hmm.
So that as soon as I am done with the 4 years of studying, I would go abroad and
Hmm.
then do like start from like 200 or 300 level versions to do
Hmm.
medicine. Because it's a pre-med course. So from that you could get like what's it called? A shorter medical learning period.
Hmm.
But in total, when I calculated it, to be a
Hmm.
surgeon, as like to be a neurosurgeon, like brain surgeon, you would have to, in my case, do the pre-med course, do the med course, go into surgery, then now do specialized surgery. I'm like, I don't know. If by now, Steph, I'll still be in school. And I was like, that's great. I hear you. And I think somewhere in between, I'd also lost interest in wanting to be a doctor
Okay.
because I really wanted to save lives, yes. But I never really tackled the part about if somebody dies, how do you break that news to their family? Because as much as you're saving lives, you're going to also have to deal with the burden of
Yeah.
lives, even if it's not your fault. That wasn't something I was really willing to deal with, one.
Mm-hmm.
And then secondly, I worked in both virology and plant phytomedicine. Oh, guys, see, I'm smart. So if this jam question was there to get me and say, "Oh, they failed."
No, 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 no. That wasn't a trick question. Actually, we just so typically most of the guys. I mean, how did you go from that science to
Oh yeah. So
tech?
it was during this virology time in
Yeah.
my life that I think I was working in a place where we would take HIV blood samples, like people who had HIV would take their blood samples, we would check it to calculate their viral load to see, oh, your viral load is going up, you
Mm-hmm.
might be getting closer to AIDS, take life seriously, all of that. And just interacting with people helped me see that I wasn't very ready to lose lives.
Mm-hmm.
Second, it helps me see that there were more than one ways to save lives, right? And I was being too myopic in thinking about saving lives from just one perspective.
Okay.
So I started to inquire, what are other ways that we can save lives? Farmers are saving lives. They are responsible for bringing the food that we eat. And if there were people who weren't, eating, how would you work? How would you do the business that you say you want to do? Do you get like there are other ways that people are saving lives? So I think I fell in love with business when that part of my brain unlocked to see that there was more to saving lives than just medicine.
Medicine,
And
yeah, medicine.
yeah, and that was really great for me because I joined a club in school, and then we
Okay.
started to do like business. We were given an assignment to do a business plan writing type thing. I went, taught myself how to write business plans. Went from
Okay.
there, it was so cool. People loved the marketing sides of my business plans, and my
Mm.
friend was, listen, this thing that people are paying you money for. There's a name for it, and it's called branding. Do you want to go to branding school? I googled it. Branding wasn't as popular at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I went to a school for branding.
Mm-hmm.
Worked in an agency, did a lot of things, and then eventually I ended up in the marketing branding space, and that's really how I got to this point. Of course, there's a longer story to explain how I got to becoming a co-founder and all of that.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
that's how I entered the marketing branding world.
yeah. And it's definitely been profitable. It's been good.
Rewarding.
It's rewarding. Yeah, that's a good word. Oh my God. And then you Covenant University people, by the way. I want Covenant University. I want you there. I said the last time, I think I was talking to Chibus of Piggyvest. So what exactly is it that you guys are getting right? That makes most of you guys either, and not just entrepreneurs or founders, but actually doing well in every sphere
I mean, you
of
have to go to
industries.
find out. You just have to go to find out.
Yeah, really, really. So there's like some secret portion you guys have that you're
If
refusing
we
to tell us.
if we give it out, it will no longer be a secret. But I think
Okay,
literally it's the community and it's the network
okay,
of people that you meet there as well.
okay.
Because when you see the person by your side doing all these amazing things,
Yeah,
so most times we pull ourselves into these things. If you see all the founders of Piggyvest, most of them, actually all of them are from Covenant University and they pull themselves into it. A lot of, like we pull ourselves into stuff and we're always trying to do things together. We're challenging each other. There's a lot that goes in. And I think this is generally in schools. I don't think that going to school is only for the education. I think it's also for the relationships.
absolutely. And to think that again, most of the things that you said, I mean, and I took that, I put that down, is is self-taught. So you decided that you had something that you're interested in, and then you decided to go for it. And this is some of the things that we tell, the guys, this community that we have. You don't have to wait for the massive opportunities to go to the four walls of the university. Education is democratized now. There's so many ways you can get it, and all you need to do is be passionate about it and be
Except you're
efficiently lazy.
trying to
Uh,
be a
uh,
surgeon,
oh,
people. If you're trying to be a surgeon,
that's
please go to
yes.
school. However,
Please,
if you think that
oh,
you really want for yourself, and this is something that
yeah,
I've
yeah.
always said,
Okay,
it's like it's so easy to make excuses and focus on what you
absolutely,
don't have, right? It's so easy to say,
absolutely.
oh,
Hmm.
I don't have money, I don't have this. There will always be something you don't have. What if
Hmm.
you reframed your mind and you asked yourself, what do I have? What
Hmm.
can I use with, like, what can I do with this thing that I have? How can I use this thing that I have to get me from point A to point B? I find that when you are pushing yourself towards progress, people start to come in to help you.
True.
People are willing to help you. People galvanize and want to help you. So if you push yourself and make some progress, you would find an army of people that you never knew existed coming in to jump in and help you. So what do you have right now that can take you from point A to point B? Don't overthink it. Don't make any excuses. Just now, if you had to start now, how would you start?
Hmm. Absolutely, absolutely, and great stuff. Bless. We're talking branding communication now. We'll talk about tech as well. What your thoughts are and your take on that. But the Blessing Abeng is a brand now, right? Yeah. So how did you build that brand? Was it intentional?
Mm.
Did you happen on it? I had one guest to say, look, I mean, I was just doing what I was doing. And then somebody tapped me and say, babe, do you understand what you have built? I said, oh wow, let me monetize it. But how is it? How did you do yours, Blessing?
I mean, so one thing that I've learned is
Okay.
if you're doing whether you like it or not, right?
Mm,
You have a brand. There's already a way that people perceive you. There's
mm,
already a perception people have of you. When people say your name and they talk about you, there is a way that they talk about you. The question now is, do you like what they're saying about you? I used to work in an agency. I used to do branding and communications. I ended up starting a business where I served 100 entrepreneurs and businesses, just helping them build their company or do stuff for their company to help their branding and communications. I was
mhm,
doing all these things for people, but I wasn't doing it for myself. And so one random day, and I was always making excuses. I was like, oh, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I need one more course. Maybe I need to do blah, 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 blah. So I went on and I registered for a course, right? And I entered the group where they were doing the course. A lot of the things that they were saying, I was very shocked by the kind of questions people were asking. I was like,
mm.
so people don't really know this thing, this basic
This
thing. So
basic thing,
do you
right? Come
understand?
on.
Like this thing that was so
Yeah,
basic to me
yeah. Uh-huh.
wasn't so basic to others. And it started to occur to me that I was underestimating what I knew and
Yeah.
overestimating what everybody else knew. Of
Mm,
course, you can be smart in different ways, but the things that that person who is super smart knows that you don't know, but the things that you know that that person doesn't know either.
doesn't know. Yeah.
I made this, I talk about this all the time where I'm like, during the lockdown, I'm a smart person, very, very smart. And I don't know how many times I've said that on this call, but people,
10
I'm
times.
smart.
10
Yeah,
times.
we need to know. Like, it needs to
We are
be written
counting.
down.
Is in the
Is it the
glasses, clearly.
glasses? Thank you very much. I'm smart. And I did not know how to bake bread during the lockdown.
Oh, wow.
A skill I had. Like it's not something I had tried to do before. And so
Okay.
during the lockdown, when I was like, oh, I want to bake bread, I had to go Google it. learn. However, there are some people who are not formally educated, but they can bake bread in their sleep and they're selling it as a gigi bread on the streets, right? Every 2 working days, they do it. Does it mean that they are smarter than me? No. Does it mean I'm smarter than them? No. We just have different zones of genius, right? And that's okay. So understanding that we had different zones of genius helped me realize I need to own my own.
Yeah.
I came out of that group and I was like, so if people don't know this thing, let me do a course too and teach people this thing. Oh my God. I did my course. CEOs of companies were talking about me on LinkedIn and saying, oh, join this course. People were sharing it on Instagram, join this course, join this course. And I put a fee. Now, the fee wasn't a lot, but what I found out was, and I got only one registrant, by the way, only one
Oh,
person. Yes, yes,
wow.
yes,
Okay,
one
cool, cool.
person.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
when that one person registered, I gave that one person my best. In fact, they got a personalized experience, which was really great. What I now found out, however, was that social media was my major point
Mm,
of that was my major marketing funnel at the time.
mm,
Everybody who had referred me tagged my handle. Now I saw an increased number of profile views on my page. But what made them not convert? It was because when they came to my page, they saw the food that I was eating. They saw that I was traveling to Tanzania. They saw all these
ah,
other things. But guess what they did
ah,
not see? Anything on branding and communications. There was
absolutely,
nothing.
man.
Nothing could show these
Mm,
people that they were not giving their money to a scammer. Nothing could tell them that this person
mm,
was smart enough to be able to teach them this thing about social media. And guess
mm,
what? I said for
mm,
the next 30 days, I'm only going to talk about I'm only going to talk about branding and communications. And I will
mm,
answer all of the questions that people are always asking me. On top of that, because remember I said I was a lazy person, still am. I used to get tired when people would come to me and be asking me the same questions over and over and over again. So I was like, this content that I would be creating would help me so that whenever someone asks me about this thing, I will just send them the link to this
mm,
post. And that's
mm,
it. So I did that for 30 days and I announced my course. Less than 24 hours, I'm not even kidding. It was sold out. The group was full. We had a great course. I charged twice, like 2 times more than I was charging the first time that only one person booked. It was filled up. And it happened. And I guess that at that point, that was when people started to recognize me as a thought leader in the branding space. Of course, within the agency world and all of that, I was known. But then now,
mm,
normal people started to see that I had this value to offer. And then, of course, going to build the brand, be part of building companies and all of that.
mm,
That just opened up more worlds where people could see the work that I was doing and how I was adding value. So yeah, that's the story of Lesson Abeng and
mm,
how I started.
mm, mm. And it's interesting to see how you leverage the social media as well, to grow this. There's a point, and I don't know if it's lost on people because you mentioned it, where people were looking to validate your personality, and they came on your page and they saw something different. Please, I think you need to overemphasize this point that you should be about what you are trying to sell or trying to preach on your social media profile. Because you see, sometimes, again, I mean, and you say it resonates with me. I have some friends who are great tech leaders, but I go onto their page and they're telling me how they are cooking, in the kitchen, how they are sleeping, and they're ranting about random things, and there just is a mismatch.
And to be
Branding and
fair, that's
communications director,
okay.
please. It is, but I mean,
It's okay,
I mean,
right? If
tell me
that's your
about that.
goal,
Yeah,
if that's your
what's
goal,
the goal?
that's
That's
fine.
not their goal.
No,
Their
no, no.
goal
I'm
is
saying
to,
like if that's your goal to say, for example, I know some
yeah.
people who for Instagram is for their friends.
Hmm.
And so they're not trying to grow, they're not trying to build a brand. They will never come out and say, I'm selling a course on Instagram. Instagram is
Okay,
for their friends. So they will give
okay,
updates and life updates and things because their target audience at that time are their friends and they want to use that platform to do other things with their friends. So
okay.
that's fine. For those people, you might see more of their serious side on LinkedIn because that's where they're okay interacting with strangers or people who want to interact with their work. It's fine. But if you're not being intentional, like you don't know intentionally that that's what you're trying to
Yeah,
do, I think that's
yeah.
where the problem is.
Hmm.
So if you come to my Instagram, for example, of course, for the last month or two, actually probably the whole year, I haven't been actively trying to show you that I'm a branding and communications person, because I don't have the space at the moment to respond to the DMs and the questions that come with that. One of the things I also used to do back then, even when I was pushing my professional side, was balancing it out to show you that I'm a human being, but I'm also a branding and communications person. So you would see, and I think somebody mentioned it here, you will see that I travel. You will see that I have a family. You will see my friends. You will see all of that, but you also see branding and communication. So I was coming off very balanced. For some people, they don't even want that. They don't want you to see their life, their friends, anything. Everything they talk about is work, and that's fine. For some people, everything they talk about is their fun life. That's fine. But if you now want to talk about business and you want to be selling and making money from social media, and you're only talking about your life and your personality, and all of that is not the source of your income. You're not Hawa, you are not Salem, you're not a lifestyle influencer. I don't know what
Okay,
to say.
that as well. That as well. Okay, cool. So key is to be intentional, know exactly what you want, understand your audience, and guys, and I do know that we have a very a large tech audience. By that I mean in terms of percentages here, but sometimes the thin line between success or failure is how you project yourself. Sometimes the skills are not enough. Sometimes your technical know-how, especially when you're trying to start a business, are not the things that will necessarily push your business out there. All right, so it's important that we have these conversations with Blessing. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's move to this thing about being a woman in the industry. Maybe you want to tell us a bit about this. And then you started a business. Let me start from funding, because I know you mentioned about the support from friends and or the community. I think community was the word you used. Has it been a challenge accessing funding, especially for you as a woman, to scale,
So
or
because
even
of
to
that thing,
begin? Yeah.
that makes total sense. And because of that thing that I said about use what you have and start where you are to get what it is that you need. One of the things that I've learned with that is that sometimes building the relationship before you need it makes your journey a little easier. Doesn't mean that it's easy. It just makes it a little easier, right? Before, and I'll give the example of Ingressive for Good.
Okay.
I remember when we first started, we didn't have any money. There was nothing going on. There was there was no dollar or naira in our bank accounts, and we weren't sure how we're going to pay ourselves salaries after 1 month was over. So we were like, okay, what do we have? We have strong profiles of things that we've gone on to do in our different individual worlds. And we were like, okay, let's reach out to Coursera. We want to give people courses, right? We want to give people access to courses. Let's ask Coursera how much. So we went on LinkedIn and we found the guy who was responsible for the EMEA part of Coursera. I'm like, oh, hi. So if we wanted to give courses, or if we wanted to buy your courses and give access to blah, 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 I think it was 1,000 people at the time, how much is it going to cost? And our goal then was to train, I think, 2,500 to show proof that our work was working. And this guy goes, he tells us the price. And we're like, interesting. If it were some people would give up and be like, we don't have the money. We'll see you next time when we have the money. But I really like that I and my co-founders at the time were not pushed by that. What we instead did was ask, oh, that's great. But do you have something like a CSR program? And this is also why it's important to be informed, right? Because, and not be scared, be shameless to ask for what you want. Be shameless. Like don't wait and be like, oh, you're so proud. Oh, people will see us as you don't have. If you disguise and make it look like you're succeeding, your helper will pass you by because they will miss out on the opportunity to help you because they will assume that you're good. You don't need help. Well, we needed help. We did. So what we did was we asked, do you have a CSR program that you guys are working on? Or like we're happy to help you, especially within the African region. And this guy was like, oh, so we don't have a CSR program specifically. However, we're doing something that we want to do with governments, with Coursera for governments. And what we want to do is give out 5,000 licenses and get the government to distribute it. Guess what? We jumped in and we said, I don't know how it's going with your conversation, but I'm very sure it's slow. It's not as forthcoming as you want. We know the community. These are the stats, and the data, the information that we have. So this thing that went from a let's find out the price became a pitch session. And so we started to ask like, oh, so we could do this. We know the community. We know this. We already have people that we can share this to, blah, blah, blah. At least 2,500 people. Guess what? This guy was so enamored by what we had said, which was true, by the way. We knew the community. We're all entrenched in the tech space. We were doing amazing things in the tech space. So we had the data, we had the numbers. And we told this guy, he fought for us. I don't know what he said to his team, but whatever we said was convincing, and he took that and fought for us in his organization. Guess what happened? He came back and gave us the 5,000 licenses, and we were responsible for distributing them. We only had plans to do 2,500 training people. I mean, to train only 2,500 people. And we thought, oh, if we do 2,500, we've tried. Guess what? When we put out the application, we did it as though, we were ready, like we were going to get everything done. 10,000 people applied. Wow. We were able to get the 5,000 people, and when people were not active, we took them out. We developed a system that made people so active. And what that did was that we were one of the most active, out of all the people that they partnered with, we were one of the most active people with the highest completion rate. They sent, was it World Economic Forum, or there was an international body, I think the World Bank, I think it was the World Bank. The World Bank came, like people from the World Bank came to do a research of some sort on us to find out how did we hit this target, how did we get completion rates this high, and how did we impact women. So my point is, you don't have to, like, I know funding is hard, especially in this current economy, is difficult, but you don't have to always go the way that everybody else is going. One of the biggest things I've learned, because my husband is working in the VC space, one of the biggest things I've learned is if you want money, ask for advice. When you reach out to people and you say, oh, please advise me, I'm building da 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 da. What do you think? How do you think I can go about it? Somehow, something in their brain makes them think, oh, they're now your new guardian. They're now your new shepherd. I don't know how to explain it, but they now take your matter on their head. And they're like, oh, maybe I can introduce you to this person, especially if they believe in what it is that you're doing. I can introduce you to this person and this person and this person. Just that little introduction opens up the door for you. So yes, funding is hard for women, yes. But okay. I'm going to laugh at the person who asked if
I know.
But yes, funding is hard for women. I'm sure that we can figure it out. I'm sure we can try. But one thing I would also advise is, if you're a woman and you're listening to this and you have the capacity to fund people and fund women, don't be the person who is over mentoring people. And if you want to start a program, and this is why I really love what you're doing, Manny, it's like everybody wants to give women advice. Great. But everybody wants to train us, mentor us, great. But can you give us capital? Because it's the capital that will help us do the business. So we're over-mentored, underfunded. Please bring the capital. Advocate for our capital. Advocate for those things. And if you're a woman that has managed to walk your way to the table, try your best to not be the only woman. It's okay to be the first, but what's not okay is to be the only woman, to bring someone else in and advocate for us all.
Yeah, I answered a lot of my questions, but I need to first address the one who was asking you whether you are married, by the way. and then just so you know, people have been saying, oh wow, I like women with glasses. Guys, sorry to bust your bubble. Okay, cool. Yeah, and that's validation for your husband.
Oh, please, can I also just shout out Femi Codes?
Okay.
He's the founder of Great, one of the founders of Great. And Great did something really cool. So during Women's Day and Women's Month, everybody's always talking. They're celebrating 5 women in their office, which is not bad. Well done, good job. But I really admire people who go ahead to really do something that actually impacts women. And I think Great did something really, really fantastic, where they gave grants to women who were building businesses, $4,000 worth of grants to the winner, and then a bunch of other prizes. But what this is going to obviously do is going to help your woman's business advance. So if you are in a company and you're working in a company and they're asking you, what is our next Women's Day idea? Please tell them that it's not enough to take pictures. What can we do to make one woman's life better? Even if it's only one. It's a stronger movement. Let it not just be lip service. Let it be action service.
Absolutely, and that's what we believe in as well. So one person at a time. Again, you don't have to. It doesn't have to be 1,000 people. It's just, I mean, you start from one, and hopefully you can scale. And then, I saw one person join the live that we had saying, "Wow, why aren't more people doing this?" A lot of people doing Uncle do giveaway, doing giveaways, lots of monies, and then the thing about money is that you get it, you spend it, it's gone. However, if you invest in a device, a tool, a grant, or something that can help people improve themselves, that will always be better, okay, than that. So shout out as well, our brother. I'm assuming is a guy.
He's a guy. I think
Is a
he
guy. Who did that? Okay, cool. Not just so lots of comments in the ground, guys. I don't know if you guys got it. We were dropping some numbers on the chat. Part of the team. I don't know if you guys got what was going on there, but in case you got it, in case you've been present and you've gotten it, please just mention that you have what we're doing. I'm not going to say more than that.
yeah,
Cool.
next
So
time
we're
come early.
yes, absolutely. Yeah, come early, right? So and then see what we're talking about now. We're talking about you're talking about mentorship opportunities for women. I think you've answered the question already, which is great. And there's this thing. I was during the IWD. I joined Women in Successful Careers, and we had a bit of conversation. And one of the major talking points was women helping women. Is it a myth or is it real? Listen, do women help women?
I
Or,
mean, nobody ever
yeah.
asks men these things, or like you will not see a panel where they'll be like, "Men helping men, is it a myth or is it
because
true?"
because we do.
I mean, I think that there
boys
are women
boys
who
club,
help women.
boys club. Don't forget that's how we got the phrase.
There are
The
women
boys
who
club.
help. There are women who help women.
Yeah.
I think I've also heard different versions of this, and I think it happens every time we're discussing an underserved group, right? Because there'll be questions like, "Oh, do Black people help Black people? Do Africans help Africans? Do Nigerians help Nigerians?" We do. There are people who do. So maybe one of the first things you can do is improve your cycle. Like, look at your circle and be like, am I in a circle of value adders, or am I in a place where I feel like I'm always getting subtraction? And I think this is really important because sometimes we don't know. Sometimes you might be the subtractor.
Yeah.
You might be the person who's always taking and taking and taking, but you're not adding value to anyone. Sometimes you might be surrounded by people that every time you bring up your ideas, they're quick to put you down. You need to just change the environment. One of the things I'm
Absolutely.
learning in my personal life now is I can complain or I can do something about it. If I could do something about it, then I go ahead and do something about it. If I can't do something about it, I go ahead and change my environment. If I
Mm,
can't change my environment, then I try to see, is there a perspective change out here? Or is there someone else that has the capacity to do something about it? Can I bring them in and let them know that this is the way that it can be changed? Of course, you can't change human beings, but you can change your circle. You can
mm,
change the people you interact with,
mm,
the women out there that are helpful, the communities that are helpful. In Grassy for Good, for example, I know initially when we first started, we looked at the applications that we got. More men applied. In fact, we noticed the moment applied, more women completed, and we're like, okay, what if
mm,
this is an opportunity? And then during International
mm.
Women's Day, when people were, posting, I can't remember what it was, but I think there was like a sign that people were doing and taking pictures. We're like, that's not going to, no, that's for this year. But that time there was something else. There's always a sign. There's always
Sorry,
a
right?
sign. I people will take pictures. And so I can't remember what the sign was, but I just remember that we were gonna.
I love
That's
that.
cute. I
That's so
know.
cool, right? I just
That's
have
cute.
to
I
do it
mean,
again.
big ups to technology and the technologist building. And
Yeah.
so yeah, so there was a sign, and we're like, it's we could do lip service and say, oh, look at all the women that work for us, or we could go ahead and do something for women and change their lives.
Mm,
And so we decided to launch into I think 1,000 women in X. We couldn't afford to train more than 1,000 women at the time, and we put out word. Guess what? Men applied. Men applied.
I can
And
imagine,
it
yeah.
was male. So I'm like, but you saw that this is a women program. But you see, men, they always apply. And that's something I wish more women would do. Like, don't
Yeah,
wait
yeah,
until
yeah,
you're
yeah,
overqualified to
yeah,
jump at
yeah,
opportunities.
yeah,
Jump as
yeah,
you are. Try,
yeah,
try. Even if you don't
yeah.
get it, you will learn something. There's a game I'm currently obsessed
Mm,
with.
mhm.
Wow, guys. Okay, so I'll talk about it. It's fine. So there's this game. I think it's called Total Battle, and I noticed something. if I attacked a monster, I wrote about this on my LinkedIn recently. If I attack a monster that is bigger than me, let's say I'm on a level 15 cater, and I'm supposed to only attack monsters that are level 15 and below. If I dare to attack a level 20 monster, you guys, I like games, just bear with me. If I dare to attack a level 20 monster, what then happens is I break down that monster to almost a level 5 because I take away a lot of their strength. If I will fail, of course, I've failed, I've lost, right? But by the time I come back, if I rebuild and I come back to fight that same monster, I will beat that monster in 2 tries. What does this mean? It means that sometimes something that looks like failure may not necessarily be failure. It might seem like failure because your success was not visible on a grand scale, but it's not. You learned something, you took something away, and then you coming back, trying again, will make the actual impact you're looking for. So try out opportunities that are bigger than you. It's okay. Put yourself out there. You will learn from the experience. And for you to learn from that experience, you need to come back and be like, oh, okay, so what did I do wrong? What could I have done better? And don't take it as a rejection, my life ends here. No. It's like, oh, okay, feedback. What can I do better? Why didn't I make it this far? Da, 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 da. So as I was saying, with that particular opportunity, we put that out. A lot of women applied. And guess what? It was a success. People went on from there to get very high paying jobs that were paying them 10 times more than they expected. Who did it? A woman. A bunch of women came together with the idea, executed it, did a whole community, and women succeeded. What was even cooler was that the group that we created where people could talk to themselves, it was other women that were helping other women scale through different challenges within the course. So don't approach life thinking, oh, women don't help women. Maybe that's what other people believe. That's fine, good, great. But for you, let the story be different. Tell yourself that your case is different and find the people who will help you, support them, and be the kind of woman you want other women to be to you.
Fantastic. Bless it. I mean, there are just so many talking points, so many things that I take out from what you said. I mean, this one will keep cracking me up, I know, for the rest of the week. Guys, be shameless. Then we write a book, Shamelessness as a Key to Success.
No, it's a thing. You guys, I think John Obidi was the person who opened this up to me. I think back then when I used to be in the community startup grind, this is like 2016.
Yeah.
And John Obidi came as like, see, I moved to Lagos for the first time. I didn't know that it was not okay to do XYZ. I
Yeah.
didn't. I asked. I wasn't afraid to ask. People are like, oh, Lagos big boy, Lagos big boy. Who Lagos big boy help?
Tell
If you're
me.
doing Lagos big boy, there's no money in your account. How's it
Preach
gonna
it.
help you? Do you understand? You're faking a life that you like, don't. And this is a very big point. It's also a big thing in branding. Don't fake it till you make it.
Mm,
I don't believe in that. I
mm,
always say grow into it. And when you grow into it, it gives you a bigger chance to be honest with yourself, to evolve, to grow, and still get help along the way. If you guys watch Emanuela video from back in the day, see how they started now. And compared to where they are now, where Wikimedia ambassadors and all of that, if they weren't shameless starting where they started,
absolutely.
they won't be where they are now.
Yeah.
So ask, be shameless. Don't prop yourself up unnecessarily. Ask for what you need.
Mm, true. Yeah. So be shameless. Don't be afraid to fail. I mean, there's absolutely no shame in failing and start. Because I was playing chess with some kids yesterday. I'm not a great chess player, but I know how to play the game. And because obviously the guy was a starter, I was winning, shamelessly winning, by the way. I don't know if you guys have seen that social media post. But I was shamelessly winning. And then the little kid, my friend's son, was afraid to make his moves, and he was like, if I do this, and I'm afraid to make. And I told him, I mean, guy, you will lose. And every time you lose, you will get better. That's the truth. Yeah, this concept of a checkmate in 4 moves, right? It's a trick move actually. They sell you a dummy, and then they go for the kill, and then you can only fall for that. And I was telling him you can only fall for that once, maybe twice. Afterwards, you know how to prop your defense better, and you always get better. So failing is definitely always something to learn from, and it will always make you better. All right.
I'm really
Feeling,
sorry, just right
yeah,
before we go on, just to make this a little bit more relatable for people. I don't know how many
okay.
people had Nokia phones back in the day or played that sneaky game, or if you've played any game at all, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that you would notice is that with any game that you play, you would always fail. You get to a level that you cannot pass.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean that you will never play again?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you come back
Nah,
over and over again to play that game? Guess what? The more you play it, the better you get, the more you succeed over level. So whenever
yeah,
you're thinking about life, approach it like it's a game.
yeah.
Understand that every roadblock you meet is teaching you or preparing you for the next level. And that could change the way that you see failure.
Absolutely. Great, great. And that's the truth, guys. And we're definitely going to record this session and we'll drop it. Someone is asking, do we have a recording of this session? There's another thing that you mentioned. Again, it's just another part of the same thing. And I'll relate this to something that happened when we were having the women in successful careers, right? So it's about women not tooting their horns well enough. I'm talking about women who have achieved stuff, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we're doing just because I was the only guy in the midst of all of the women because of the role that I hold, right? So, and then we were doing introductions, and the women would say, "Ah, my name is Chizova. Hi, my name is Elizabeth, and I work with HP. I am this, and I work with HP." So I stood up and I did this completely unconsciously. It's not like it was intentional. I stood up and said, just in case you guys don't know, this woman who just introduced herself manages 6 countries. This woman who you don't know did that. And then when I introduced myself, I said, this is what I do. And I talked about the entire breadth of the portfolio that I handle and everything I did. And then, the lady who was moderating emphasized and said, women, this is a good example that you guys should always take up on. Men are quick to talk about their achievements and to talk about
Mm-hmm.
everything that they have, and they do it unconsciously. But women are humble sometimes. I know some people who are not. Women are scared, sometimes to speak about the things that they've done, but never be afraid to do that because I mean, at the end of the day, it's you validating yourself, but it's you actually talking about the achievements that you've made. That's a key skill that I thought it was important, and I was happy that all of the women in my office were there to hear that. Okay,
For
cool.
perspective, to be honest, it's how do I put this? We need to understand why it can be like that sometimes.
Mhm,
The world is really harsh on women. And I
mhm,
think Chimamanda's there's this particular thing that Chimamanda talked, like I think it was a spoken word or it was a speech, and I think Beyonce also had it in her song, the Chimamanda clip, where it's like, be this but not too, like, be pretty but not too pretty, be hardworking but not too hardworking. You're allowed to do this, but don't do it too much, because if you're too fine, you're this. If you're not as fine, you're this. If you say you are ambitious, you're this. But then if you're ambitious but you're not a mom, I mean, people are always consistent. It's like everything you do is never good enough or it's too much. There is never like a middle
yeah,
ground
that's the
for
word.
you as a
Yeah.
woman. And it's such a sad thing. However, don't let that deter you. That's
Mm,
everybody else's business. That's not why we're here.
mm,
Yes, it's a thing. People feel this way, whatever, whatever. The world, it's your world, and it would adjust to your standards, right? You can teach people how to treat you, and that's something that I learned really like early. You can teach people how to treat you, and one of those ways to teach people how to treat you is by how you treat yourself. There's no need for you to bow and cower or disappear in the room when they're giving you your accolades. You're like, oh, do you mean me? No. Oh my God, stop it. No, it's not beauty. It's not greatness. It's not humility. All those things are fake. Be honest. If you did something, it's not fake if you can back it up. If you did
mhm,
something, say that you did it. If show your work. It's not enough to do the work. It's also important to show your work,
mm,
because a lot of the prayers that you're praying is on the lip of somebody else in the room that you are not in. But those people can't advocate for you because they don't even know what you do. They can't advocate for you and fight for you because there's nothing, they don't have proof or backup to say this is what you actually do. And let me explain that a little bit more.
mhm,
Manny, you did not, I was not in the room the day you decided that, oh, blessing is going to be on my life. I wasn't there with your team, right? Everybody sat down and said, oh, who should be our next guest? And somebody called my name. I wasn't there to defend. somebody would have probably asked, oh, why blessing?
Mm.
But they can then say, oh, she's done this, she's done this, she's done this. The only reason that they know I've done all those things is because I am vocal about it. If you Google me, you will find it. If you check my social media or one of my pages, you will find it. I am not shy to say this is the way that I've added value. And so what that does is anytime somebody hears an opportunity that sounds like it might align with Blessing Abeng, they will call my name. And so that prayer that I'm praying for, it gets answered even if I'm there or I'm not there. And it empowers the person who is defending me the armor to be able to say, but this person has done this and done this and done this, and gives that person more ammunition to defend me when I'm not there. So it's not humility. You're doing yourself a disservice if you're not speaking up for yourself. So speak up for yourself. Thank you.
Sorosuke. And I should not add weary to it. Okay. By the way, but yeah, great talk, good stuff. I'll go through some of the questions that people have asked, and then we'll go into like some fun stuff and get some people to come and pitch and talk to us, right? Yeah. Now, but just before I do that, and you know, this may be cliche, but and you've spoken a lot, just to bring it into reining in. What's the advice that you have for those female aspiring tech leaders, people who want to be, you know, stand out as women, considering all the difficulties, all the challenges, and indeed, the data speaks for itself. Women are really challenged, almost endangered species, even though you have some leading lights today. All right, what's that advice that you give to them? You know, something that they can take home as a nugget.
Okay, I would say three things that I've already said before. And the number one would be don't focus on what you don't have. Start where you are with what you have. Ask yourself, if I was to start this today, how would I go about it, right? That's number one. Number two is show your work. The little that you know, like a lot of times we misinterpret showing your work for, oh, you have to be an expert. No, even if you're not an expert at a particular topic, you're an expert in your life. You're an expert in your life. Yeah, you're an expert in your life, right? And so nobody has your perspective. You're the one who is living your life. You're the one that you get. So if you come and you say, oh, this is what I learned today, is what you learned today. Nobody can beat you. If it's like, oh, this is a challenge I faced and this is how I dealt with it, you are sharing, you are showing up, you're showing your work. So show up for yourself, show up for your work. The third thing would be the reason why we've gone from 10% to 25% is because there are different women out there doing their possible best to ensure that more women can get in the room. When you get in the room, or as you gradually get closer to the room, try your best to bring somebody else along. And that could be the little that you've learned now, mentor somebody. If somebody asks you for help, help that person. It's in the little ways. It's never really the big things. It's always the little things that always add up eventually to make the big difference. So, yeah. And last, do your work with excellence. It's unfortunate, but the world always demands times two from a woman to prove herself. It's sad. However, stop thinking about it as, oh, I'm a woman, so I have to be excellent. Just think about it as, I want to be an excellent person. This has really helped me in life because every time I do stuff, even if I'm lazy, I do it with a lot of excellence. So you have no choice but to remember that, oh, this work that Blessing did was nice. How can we replicate? You know, oh, wow, that's amazing. It makes you want to talk about it because of how excellent it is, right? So every project you do has legs. So if you're given an opportunity to do a project, make sure you put your 100% into it. Do your best. And what happens then is that project goes on to speak for you, even when you're not there. Finally, try your best to be consistent. A lot of times people think that consistency is showing up every single day. Maybe it doesn't have to be showing up 100% every single day. It could be 20% a day, 10%, but try to show up. But even on the days that you can't show up, don't give up. Don't be hard on yourself. Don't say, oh, my life is over because I didn't show up. I will never show up again. One example I always give is my brush your teeth example, where I'm like, if you forget to brush your teeth today and you had an emergency and you ran out, you won't say, oh, I will never brush again. And today I will never brush again. No. As soon as you remember, you go back, you brush even harder than you used to brush before. Apply the same energy to your work. If you miss a day of practice, if you miss a day of something, just go right ahead, pick it up, and give it the same energy or even more. And you'll be fine. You'll actually be fine.
Wow. Great, great stuff. She's delivered the masterclass, and guys, we should
Yeah.
have been paying for this, by
Yeah.
the way.
You guys, I'm supposed to be charging you people. I'm supposed to
Yeah.
put PayPal link for people to pay. But this is a labor of love, and I'm excited to
Yes.
do it because I think the real change comes from practice, right? And even if you
Yeah.
can't remember every single thing that we've talked about, pick
Yeah.
one thing that you're going to go and implement today. I find that we read books, we take courses, we do all of those things, but our lives don't really change because we did not implement. You just have theories in your head, but nothing practical. Change that. Pick one thing out of everything we said today and say, this is the one I'm going to implement today. Today. Start today. Don't say tomorrow, today. And see how much difference that makes for you.
Great, blessing. I mean, a lot of questions. Unfortunately, I can't take all of them, but I think this one is important because again, it speaks to the confidence of women, and they want your own example. There are two questions in one, and it was Code Maniac and
Okay.
Rosaline FD. You know, okay. So guys, you guys didn't attend the class that we had on the names. Okay, but we won't talk about that today. How did you build your confidence when you started? That's one. And how do I overcome the imposter syndrome? That's an interesting one. Blessing. Personal example for
All
you,
right.
actually.
That's perfect. I think for the imposter syndrome one, because that can sometimes feel like a whole master class, just Google imposter syndrome lesson Abeng. You should
Mm-hmm.
see a LinkedIn article that I've already written about this. I think it's going to be really, really helpful to help someone out there. But let me start with the building of confidence one.
Mm-hmm.
The building of confidence, I think with every project that you do, it's like your body reveals, like it reveals itself to you. And you're like, oh wow, I can actually do this. And you go one step further. One of the things that I've learned is, and I think maybe also my dad played an instrumental role. Actually, my parents played an instrumental role in helping me see that I am not I'm not lower than anybody. Nobody is better than me. Nobody is worse than me. It's like I'm
Mm-hmm.
just me. I'm me. Nobody can be more me than me. Do you get? And to give you perspective, my mom, when she gave birth to I and my sister, someone had reached out to her and said, "Oh, when are you going to have an actual child?" And she
Wow.
had to, and she was like, "What do you mean I have kids?" And they're like, "No, you have two girls." And so she came home, she was really sad, but that created a resolve in her to say, yes, this is what people think, but I'm not going to raise my children to feel like they're less than anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And we never grew up thinking that there was anything we couldn't do. And so that's how my parents raised us, right? So I was allowed to wash my father's car. I was allowed, like, I played football when I was growing up. I didn't have, there was nothing in my mind that ever told me, oh, you are limited. And while I know not a lot of people have the same privilege of getting parents who would probably train you that way, I see that you can also train yourself as an adult to be that way. You could tell yourself, and you could literally tell yourself that you have the power to change your life. A lot of things are within your control. Recognize the things that are within your control. Don't limit yourself. Surround yourself with information about people who are doing amazing things, and they're human beings like you. If, for example, I wanted to make $1 million in a month, it's not far reaching because there's a footballer that is making $1 million a week. So just reframing your mind and surrounding yourself with information that tells you that the life that you want is possible because it is, inspires you, it plays a role in your life. So remove the limits and then consistently keep a win journal. That's another thing that I do. And this also helps with imposter syndrome. Whenever I feel like, oh, I'm not good enough, I open my win journal to remind myself, look at all the amazing things I've done. If I could do these things, it means I can do this new one that I want to do. Last part about imposter syndrome, and I always say this, right? If you built a house and you bought a house or a land by yourself, and then somebody strays and comes and stays in your house, what are you going to do? Will you be like, oh, hey, this person has taken my house, so now that you're living in my house that I paid money for, I'm not gonna, I'll leave you here. It's your house now. Will you do that? I doubt it. I feel like you put up a fight because you know how much you invested in building that house. I think you should take the same energy into imposters. Whenever you feel that imposter thoughts creep in, one of the first things I've learned is that your mind is focusing too much on you as opposed to the project or the thing that you're supposed to be doing, right? So you ask yourself, okay, this thought is foreign, this thought is not mine. How can I let it, like, how can I remind this thought that is not supposed to be here? A win journal. So it's called a win journal. How can I remind this thought that is not supposed to be here? A very key way that I do that beyond being a win journal is reminding myself that if I'm in a room, I need to focus on the fact that I'm already in the room. It doesn't matter, oh, why am I in the room? Oh, did I deserve it? Why not? What's the point of all those thoughts? Like, if I ask myself, do I deserve it? Oh, am I good enough? Da, da, da. What's the answer that I'm expecting now in this moment where we're supposed to be solving problems? I remember a time a president's wife gave me her number, and I was like, why would a president's wife give me a number? What would I say? Blah blah blah. But it was such a waste of thought because she has already given me the number. The only logical thing to do is text and say hello, thank you so much for your number, da 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 da, and have a conversation. Do you get? But I was too focused on, oh, why did she give me your number? Da 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 da. It's a useless thought. So my point is, don't waste your time thinking about things that don't add value to your life. It's more like if this thought is creeping into my head, I can focus on should I be in the room, or I can focus on now that I'm in the room, what do I need to do now? You know, now that I'm on the table, what are the steps I need to take? What are the key things that I need to get done? Remove your mind from questioning why you should be there and focus more on you're already there, right? You're already there. So how can I make the best of this opportunity?
Fantastic, fantastic. Guys, I mean, I could do a standing ovation, but you probably see my body. Yes, I'm just gonna do this. Yeah,
Lockdown
all
world.
right, cool.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So, but cool. I mean, blessing. You've been a blessing. Blank. I see someone caught the vibe and said blank as well. So hopefully this would stick. Great that we had you here. I don't know if you guys can hear me. Okay, yes, you can. I saw the thing scroll for a bit. Now, I'll do a summary of some of the things, I mean, some of the great nuggets that we've had, just in case some people are not able to go back and see the video later on the recording. And we'll also do snippets all through the week, maybe 2, 3 weeks. And then, of course, we're going to have in 2 weeks' time the big reveal for the guys who are going to win two massive laptops. You guys didn't realize that we've actually been dropping credit through the course of the show, and some people are smart and have gotten it. So congratulations to all of you guys who have done it. Hopefully next time some people will be a bit more present and then take advantage of it. And it's good money, by the way. All right. We call it micro data because you use credit to subscribe for data, right? So for us, we believe three things that will always happen when we are having the Money Life series is that there'll be data, there will obviously be devices, and then you're going to get a good dose of digital literacy, which is, and it comes in various shapes and forms. Okay, so let me tell you what we will do now, guys, all right, as you get ready. Now, again, like I said, there were some forms that had been sent out, and some people filled the form. We'll keep it open, by the way. And then we saw some amazing entries in the forms, and then we took note of about 5, 6 people who, incidentally, a lot of them are here now, all right, and they have been participating. Don't forget, you need to be present, you need to participate, and then hopefully you get the opportunity to pitch, all right? So we're going to
Can
get.
I advocate for something right before
Tell,
we go?
tell me, tell me, tell me.
I think definitely we should pick one person based on the pitch today. But I
Yeah,
think we should open this up because we're going to repost this and it's going to
yeah,
be a replay, right? So just to create an opportunity for people who are replaying, people who watch this and go on to fill the form should still have a chance, please.
I
So
agree.
what that means is we give one laptop now and then give one laptop to the people who watch the replay.
Cool. I think that's exactly how we're going to do it. And in any case, whenever we have guests, they're the ones who determine everything. So this is Blessing's
Yep.
show, all right, so to speak. I need to learn how to do that. I've been doing a private lesson on Gen Z slangs, guys. Okay, so all right, cool. But yeah, so I should also do expressions as well. Okay. So we'll get 5 people who will come in. Those 5 people will also get data. It's a lot of data that we're going to give anyways. And then one of them is going to go home with the laptop. And then, like I said, we've been dropping a lot of micro data all through the chat. Next time, guys, you guys pay a bit more attention to this. And those who win the laptops, and we have a lot of the guys here as well in the chat, in the group, go on to do some mandatory courses, because we just need you to begin to focus on building a tech journey or building a tech career. Okay, so that's how we'll do it. Like Blessing said, we'll open the forms, and you'll see this on both our handles as well, so that you can keep filling, and then we'll do the collation, and then the second batch. So that if you don't win now, you still stand a chance, because you need to fill, and then you need to go and really pitch like professional. Please don't use Gemini AI, or don't use
We will know.
ChatGPT. We will
We're
know.
techies, we will know.
We will know.
And we can ask ChatGPT. ChatGPT,
Yes.
did you tell this
Did
person
you write this?
And they will tell us. So please, then, please.
Don't use it. So give your best shot, and then obviously Blessing will pick the winners, the two winners, and then on the 20th we'll do the announcement. But of course, we'll give the data now and all the other things that we did. So it's been fun. Honestly, before we do...
Somebody here just asked, what's the importance of the form? And I would explain. So the form is to help us discover, for those people who will not get the opportunity to pitch today, we will be able to discover really how this laptop will add value to them. If they were part of this live, if they watched it, if they got any value from it, and just be able to streamline based on different factors to help us decide, also to gather data, so we can know the kind of people who need laptops and optimize to be able to meet them at the point of their needs.
Wow.
You're welcome. You're just discovering all these things with me, right? On this live with
yeah,
me.
So I mean, oh my goodness. What's going on
I have
here?
this ability to reveal awesomeness, even if the awesomeness is hiding.
Look at that. How did I get that one? That was amazing. That's like
thumbs
stars.
up always gives the
no,
gives the
it's this massive stars that happen behind
oh,
me.
No,
yeah, that's it.
Double.
Oh my goodness. I'm like a little child discovering a new toy. All right, cool, guys. Just in case you have forgotten, cover something that stuck out for me, guys. And I wrote it down. Guys, you need to embrace writing. It's also key to your success. Things you write down usually become reality. Creating repeatable systems, and I'm sure she just mentioned this off the cuff, but that's absolutely amazing. Discovering something like I just have now, and ensuring that there's a system to ensure repeatability. That is science. That's the definition of science. By the way, making your weakness work for you. Blessing is efficiently lazy, but later on we discover that she's not really lazy, right? Because she puts in excellence into the work. So, right? I don't know if that's a catchphrase, but definitely she likes to make her weakness work for her. We give out some of those tools. There's a free version. You can Google Blessings. Blessing, what should they Google to get those 101 tools?
Blessing Abeng 101 tools. You will come up. Google it.
You definitely get
and
it.
If it doesn't come up, feel free to DM me. Also, if you had questions that weren't asked, feel free to DM me as well. I will respond to you.
Absolutely. A lot of the people doing making waves, and a lot of the content creators that you have today, and we've had a couple of them on this live, were self-taught. All right, they didn't go to school to learn it. They had a passion and a commitment to learning, and that's actually what stood them out. And they're making lots of money. We didn't talk about Blessings Network, but okay, next time we'll talk about that. Somebody mentioned that it's only rich kids that go to see you. By the way, I thought that cracked me.
It's not entirely a factual statement, because there are a bunch of people who aren't very rich that went to see you, but the thing is, they go on to create wealth.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. And nowadays, I mean, the school fees that CU pays, I mean, schools generally are paying a bit more. All right.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I agree.
But there's scholarships as well, so it's a lot.
Okay, cool. You are a brand already. I think you need to start from that. There's a way people perceive you already. If you know it, decide if you want to keep it or you want to adjust it or change it, and then you can begin the work of branding. There are different zones of genius, guys. You need to understand that a fish would never win 100 meters race, no matter how hard it tries. That's exactly what it is, and that's on period. All right, guys. People are laughing at me right now. Know your audience, people. Be intentional. Be shameless. Women are over mentored and underfunded, so we need to do something about that, guys. We'll take that definitely as a point. Improve your circle. All right, feel free to improve your circle. Don't be afraid to let go of people that don't add value to your life. That's actually important. Don't be afraid to fail, and really toot your own horn, all right? Be the lizard. When I was growing up, they say when a lizard falls from a high building, it hits the floor and it says, "Guy, you have tried. You survived." All right, cool. Cool, guys. All right, cool. So we go into this part, and we really thank you for the time and staying with us, right? Because I know data is not easy. For some of you, we'll give you back your data with some of the gifts. But for other ones, keep hanging. I hope that the nuggets that you've gotten turn your life, transform your life, and I think that then would be a job well done for us. Okay, so we're going to call the guys who have been participating, and a lot of all of the things that we said. My team has been back and doing a lot of work, so I'm going to call Balkis Abdul Kareem, UT Sam, Alabi Comfort of Alara, Oyin Honey. I want to see your face, by the way. And Princess Wachi Merem 49. All right, so cool. So please do how do you call it now? Ask to be invited, and then we'll add you.
Send the request, people. By the way, Manny, big ups to your Gen Z slangs. You're killing it.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
I think the jacket you wore first to deceive us that you're Gen Z is working, but on top of that, you're topping it with this slang. So well done.
Yeah. Cool. W's in the chat, eh? Okay, yeah. Guys, I'm having fun. All right, so let's see who's going to join. Belkis Abdul Kareem. I'm going to okay. So we'll start with Alabi Comfort Omolara. I think you're here already. I just want to say my thanks again. Just remind you, on the 20th we're going to have the reveal of the two winners. They're going to join the SC Academy, and it's going to be fun to get them also associated with a lot of the work that Blessing is doing. So I mean, we're doing a lot of stuff together going forward. I haven't told her this.
Yeah, I'm just finding out everyone, but I will not.
Yeah, she doesn't know, but that's the way it is. So the forms are online on both handles. Just please fill the forms. Get as much as information. Make a good pitch. Put your heart into it. Don't leave all of your destiny into Chat GPT and the other guy. All right, and let's hear from you loud and clear. We've learned a lot. I'm so happy. There's a lot of guys working in the background, vetting, getting people stuff.
Shout out to you,
yeah,
team. We see you. We love you. Well done. You make us look good. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks to Joe. Thanks to Shuki. Thanks to Jonah Chibuzo, and our programs director, of course, Fabi Faramade. And thanks as well to Ruth. I mean, the newest kid on the block in code. All right, so it's been a pleasure for me. I'll of course hand over to Blank to give us her final words and final notes, and then we'll call it a wrap.
I mean, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited that I was able to make it here. I'm glad that we got to spend time together. Shout out to all of the Ingressive for Good community members that are on this show right now. Hopefully, you guys pray hard so that Manny will consider doing a partnership as HP with Ingressive for Good, so you guys can have more opportunities, right? But thank you all so much for joining. Manny, guys. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you. Remember, the one word I'm leaving you with is, if they're out of everything that I have said, just pick one thing, just one, and start to practice today, not tomorrow, today. Wishing you the very best.
Guys, have a lovely rest of the day.
Oh, wait. Before we go, please remember the forms are on our links in bios, so you check our links, the links in our bios, and you can fill the form and still be in the running to win a laptop, right? So please fill the form, pitch your heart out. We will be considering all up until April 20th when we will be announcing. So please fill the form. Don't forget to put a comment on this live so that when you're going to the form, you can prove that you were here, right?
Absolutely.
So please do your best. Share this with someone. If you don't need a laptop, share this with someone who might make some opportunities happen for them. Thank you again. That's my last word.
Thank you so much, Blank. Comfort, UT, Oyin, and Belkis, you have gotten data, so please send a DM, and then the team will reach out to you and then give you data subscription. as well. Okay, and then go
Manny,
pray.
before we go, you and I should
Yes.
pose, right? Every single person on this live, you're here. I and Manny are about to pose. You're going to take a screenshot of us and post one thing you learned from this live. As soon as you take the screenshot, just be like, done. Just say done in the comment section. Are you ready? We're posing now.
Just before we pause, I'm not going to do this, okay?
Don't
All
do
right,
it.
so that's driven.
Don't do it. I'm not seeing the dons. You guys take screenshots and say done. Let me take my own too. Perfect. Post on your stories, tag me, tag Manny. We're going to be on the lookout. One thing you learned after this.
Thank you. Have a lovely rest of the day. Thanks, blessing. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy. Bye.